Boom. Get the anchor off here. Down here. And now we're all set. I'll tell y'all. Sorry, it's the pull up, and we here with Jeanova Hill in her studio. What call your studio?
FitMeNaturally Wellness Studio.
FitMeNaturally Studios. So I have the pleasure, Keita has the pleasure of meeting with one of my dearest, most bestest friends in the universe, and one of the best entrepreneurs I know, Miss Jeanova Hill.
You're so kind.
It's real.
Like, I thought we were dear friends, but prior to this, I realized that we have old beef. I'm not gonna dwell on that. I'm gonna still help him out. I'm gonna bring out the information, but just so you know,
That's cool.
we're gonna have a push-up contest after this.
Oh yeah, that's
Whoever wins, the other person gotta dead it.
sound alright.
Alright, you gonna lose, so just work on burying the hatchet.
It's cool. And you know what? We're gonna get into all that because me and her we got lots to go way back. But I want to start into, let's tell people what all you got going on.
Okay, so I am Jeanova Hill, also known as FitMeNaturally. I am the owner of multiple health and wellness brands. So I manage and operate solely under FitMeNaturally as a personal trainer. Before the end of this year, I'll be a certified yoga instructor as well. I'm a nutrition coach through NASM, so I write meal plans, I write workout plans, all of that. And then I also own a holistic health business called Temple and Aura, where I sell natural vitamins and supplements, and sea moss, sage crystals, lace beads, journals, you name it. I pretty much got it. Anything that Erykah Badu would do, I'm your go-to. And then I also have a health and wellness services business, which is a branch of Temple and Aura, where I do Reiki, I do guided meditation, and soon life coaching. So, and then also another thing that I'm working on is becoming a certified tax preparer through the IRS. So it's gonna kind of tie everything together as to who I am as a mompreneur. I'm very, very, very serious about the fundamentals, which is foundation, family, and faith. So I don't play about no money. I've been getting to the bag for a long time.
And I can attest to that.
Brandon will tell you if there was ever a hustle, I was bro man.
We're gonna get to all that because I got some stories for y'all.
But I just feel like, especially when you become a mom, it's so important to have the time. And so it's a great time for you to sit for them 9 months while you're baking and incubating to figure out how you can get off other people's time and get on your own time. Precious moments, y'all know children provide so many precious moments, but a lot of mothers miss them because they're so busy trying to get back into the workforce. So I actually resigned from degree work.
How many degrees you got?
I ain't even petty. I mean, you doing degrees or we talking certifications? Because I don't got enough hand. No, I'm dually degreed, bachelor status. So, and then I also have like numerous things that I've been trained in, I guess you could say. But typically, anything I do, the one thing about it is I do not believe in giving advice that I have not lived or experienced, or things that I do not know. If I know, I mean read. Reading is so fundamental. One of the funny quirks about me is that I don't watch television at all on TV. So that's the TV I own, and y'all see us in the gym. It's actually not even mounted. It's a mess, but it fell off the wall. So y'all don't watch TV. I entertain myself through reading, because if I watch something and I hear it, I may remember what I heard, but if I read it, I will remember what I saw, and then it will be like painted in my brain. So I've always preferred magazines. I think I burnt myself out on television as a child. I used to love BET and MTV. I used to learn the choreography, the dance videos, and I think I honestly burnt myself out. By the time I was 16, I couldn't do a TV no more, and that's when I really started reading, and it was life changing. So I stick to what works for me, which is reading, and that gives me a lot of, honestly, it positions me to be a more successful entrepreneur. The fact that I'm willing to read solely alone is probably what sets me apart from other people who start businesses.
Right, so I'm talking. Quick, let me ask you this: what are some books that you recommend someone starting out being an entrepreneur?
Books for entrepreneur?
I mean, books that I can say this: books that you read that apply to your entrepreneur journey.
I can't really say the books that I read made me want to be an entrepreneur. The books that I read that were actually like life changing and like changing the way I thought and the way I processed. Initially, they didn't make me want to be an entrepreneur.
It was already inside.
That's another story. But no, so I believe in this. This is what I think. In life, there are Diddy's and there are Memphis Bleaks. All right, y'all follow me?
No shade on Memphis Bleak.
So there are. You can still call me. Okay. But so there are people who are always going to outwork, out hustle. They're gonna take the chances. They're gonna take the risks. They're gonna live on the edge. They're gonna do those things, and they're gonna be known. And they're gonna be known for that. And then they're gonna get success because they're willing to do what most people aren't willing to do. And then there are people who are going to be in position and not know how to play it, and they're gonna fumble it. Mostly because they're gonna get comfortable and they're not gonna want to work to keep up. And then they're gonna get mad, right? And so, as a person, you gotta understand that when you suggest things to people, if it's not in their timing and if it's not in them, they're not gonna be able to do nothing with it. So what I've been able to do is to honestly just be blessed and favored to have things that are naturally in me and then be put in front of the right things to kind of bring it out. So when I was in college, I went to a talk. The first thing that made me really want to be a business entrepreneur, was a talk. So I was in a business, college of business. They would have free speakers come, and you could come in, get out of class, go watch the speaker. Right. So I go and I watch this speaker, and he was a really big fan of Jim Rowe. So he passed in 2009, but he's a famous American entrepreneur. He's known from like going from rags to riches in 6 years, then losing it all, and then getting it right back. And the philosophies that he quoted from him made me like, who is this guy talking? Where did Jim at?
Look,
give me Jim's book.
If you guys don't know Jim Rohn is, look him up. YouTube him right now, Google him right now.
So, there is not a talk, there's not nothing that can come out this man's mouth that will ever let you down. I tell you. So when I heard quotes from him, I actually have one tattooed on me. My college professor paid for it. Because I was like, from the moment I heard it, I was like, this is it. He's right. And so that opened up a big like world for me. And just hearing these stories. I grew up watching different worlds. So I grew up thinking, I'm gonna go to college, I'm gonna hang with some cool people, I'm gonna wear jumpers and buttons, and then I'm gonna get a good job. And baby, that's gonna be, I'm gonna be the Huxtable. So I'm gonna be Claire, I'm gonna find me a cliff, and now I'm not gonna be in the hood struggling. Like, that's literally what I thought. So to go into an environment where the norm of tone of conversation was wealth and wealth building and business and connections and networking. All of these are words that I was just like, but it sparked something in me, and I was like, it ain't what you know, it's who you know. It's the room you in, it's the average of the 5 people you hang around, it's your mindset, it's how you look at things, and from that point on, I just decided that nothing in life I was ever gonna lose. Because now I have this mindset, and I'm gonna apply this shit to everything. And I have, so.
No, you're right about that. And I can say mindset really is the spark that, ignites us all when it comes to entrepreneurship. I mean, I know personally, I'm pretty sure you just attest to it. Keita, I'm pretty sure attest to it.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the first part of it.
First part of it.
I think this is what changes your mind. I've read all of the general books, so you know all the things that people are going to say. But for me, I think a lot of times we look to these people like Robert Kawasaki. I'm horrible with names, y'all. I will put extra syllables in your names, and Harvey, I will slaughter some names. But you know, like Rich Dad Poor Dad and the Four Agreements, and I've read all of that. But honestly, what I find more takeaways from are autobiographies of people's experiences. So I listen to something called Oprah's podcast, Soul Talks or something like that. I listen to it every day. Can't even tell you what it's called. Horrible with names. But it's interviews with different people, and they talk about different experiences they've had, different things they've been through, and that's what resonates with me. I've probably read more autobiographies and watched more documentaries than anything else, because I like to look at what people have went through and see what they've made out of it, and see how they made out, and then listen to their takeaways. I do believe the best experiences is lived experiences. So a textbook, if you give me a textbook of how to run $1 million business and marry a woman and become a billionaire, I'm not going to want to read it, but I will go talk to Jay-Z. I'm not going to pay for that book, but I'll pay a whole lot of money to be in a room with Jay-Z. And that's just the type of learner I am, and honestly, that's the type of resource I try to be, and that's the type of business person I try to be, and that's the type of, that's just the energy I try to put back out there, because me absorbing that energy, the people weren't actually putting out for me, it's just energy I was in a way of, and I was like, yeah, this is my vibe, I'm gonna soak it up. But I try to pay it forward by being that person. So pretty much, if any business person has ever dealt with me, even if you just met me or anything, I done sent you something, I done plugged you for something, I done sent your stuff to somebody, or I done told you something, I done told you how to do something, because that's just me.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I can attest to that also.
Yeah. Funny story. Me and Jeanova, we met on business, right? She was coming to one of my lives or trainings or something, right? Only reason I know Brandon is because she tells Brandon that I exist. And from her purchasing from me, I'm like, oh, you know what? I got this pudge that pudge that won't budge. I gotta get this weight off of me. You do fitness. Send me some sea moss, because that's what they said be working, right? Of course, I don't know nothing about no sea moss. So I purchased it. She's like, okay, cool. And when I tell you, as a business owner, just from the education and providing value side, not only was she able to learn from me, but she was able to teach me. Because again, CMOS, I really just had it because I had no money, right? And it was like, I want to support those who support me. But she poured back into me. She took the time to stop and explain every single thing. She even threw in like a different flavor, like this is flavorless, but this is elderberry or whatever it was. But it was so, like, our whole family was
doing some samples.
Yeah, our whole house was like trying it for at least a day. At least a week, every day for a week or so, just trying to get it together. And then Brandon hits me up like, hey, let's work together. And bam, now we're pulling up on her as far as pull-up experience, just from her being a catalyst. But one thing that you did say earlier that I really want to touch on, because I think that's a perfect segue, you said you learn best by learning from others' experiences, how they overcame. And you talked about how you thought, like we all thought, I'm going to be a Huxtable, I'm going to be a Hillman grad and figure it out. And apparently that's not what happened. So if you could explain to the people how we got here.
Yeah, that's right. Let's not go over that.
Oh, Lord. I'm going to make this real quick for y'all. All right. So what happened was, so business degree, got a job in business, didn't like it, because I didn't feel like I could implement change to the degree that I wanted to. So I will go back to be a teacher, help the kids, because I got to start. The adults, I cannot help them. Let me start with the children, because then they're going to go out and be better adults, and then they can do that. And working for the state is just disheartening on so many levels, and I could tell that I at this point I know what disappointment from something that you love feels like. So the second time around, it was so easy for me to separate. I was like, I know this feeling. I don't love this. I had really bad anxiety, stress. I got big. I kept whining in the trunk. I would refill my little Super Gold bottle and drink my wine on the way home because my job was so heavy. And I knew I didn't want to do that. So I actually had an opportunity to move across the country, and I did. And when I came back, I got pregnant. And they say when you are chosen to bring a child into the world, it's a catalyst. And so I literally fell into that. I was like, you know what? I know that I always said if I had kids, I was gonna be a wife in a house. Now, it didn't go like that either. But I said I'm still staying in the house. I ain't coming outside, going to like pushing nobody's clock as no mom, because I worked every side of the fence. I dealt with the kids whose parents was at work. I worked with people who had to come to work and leave their kids. I worked with people who had to bring their kids to work. And I just could not see that for myself. And I used to, if y'all know me, y'all know I'm quick to be like, I could never. And so I had to eat them words. Because God was like, yeah, you're going to be going to work and taking this kid. And I was just like, no, I'm not. I'm not paying nobody to raise my kid and mess it up. And so I made a decision to go into service. So natural gifts that I have is I can teach things to people. I can understand concepts really well, like how they work, like Rubik's Cube, like how does this work? How does this system work? How does this function? I can figure stuff like that out, and then I can teach it to people. Or I can figure it out and I can work it for myself. I also am very good with people. Like I feel like a deaf person would try to talk to me because that's just what it is. I think I just carry a good energy about me, and I don't look at anyone as anything. So I would never look at a homeless person and be like, oh, you're homeless, there's nothing to be said from you. I'll never look at a rich person and be like, oh my God, you're rich and you're famous, I want to be in your face. I treat everybody the same. You know what I mean? So I think that makes me just like attractive as a person, and I genuinely like people. Like I feel like, what's the point of being on the earth if you ain't gonna talk to nobody? Like who doesn't want friends? Who doesn't want, like who don't want this stuff? It's just weird to me. So I'm good. I'm really good with people. And when I was in college, I had an opportunity to work in fine dining, and I didn't like that because I didn't like the feeling of servitude, because I still had a lot of impoverished mindsets, and I couldn't wrap my head around serving people. From the point, because it was more of a reflection of where I felt like I was at. I felt like I was so behind. I felt like, I was behind physically, educationally, in every way that you can name it. I was behind in every class. I was reminded of how behind I really was as an advanced student coming into college. So certain things I just could not do. But I always liked the swag of fine dining. So I found me a restaurant that was like semi-fine dining, and I started bartending and serving. And I worked maybe 60% of the hours I worked prior, and I made 80% of the pay take home. So with no stress, with no homework, with no nothing. And I was like, oh baby, I ain't never going back to work. I'm in here like, what you want to eat? What you want to drink? Can I take your order? And so I started serving. Fast forward to me having my child. I had my child. I'm doing everything natural. I'm eating sea moss. I'm nursing. I'm nesting. I'm reading. I had a mama roo. I was doing it.
What's up with mama room?
It's
the Bentley of baby.
It is.
Okay.
It is. Yeah.
Okay. That's I'm like mama room.
Okay, all right. That's the bougie baby.
I was at Honey, and it was on and popping. And what happened was the nutritionist and the dietitian gave me this diet to follow for breastfeeding moms. So I'm eating that. And so the dietitian gave me one meal plan, and the nutritionalist for the lactation consultant gave me another meal plan. I don't know no better. I'm eating both. Y'all, I went from 6 weeks after I had my son, I was 207. By the time my son was 3 months, I was 235. I gave birth at 228. So at this point, I'm bigger than I was when I gave birth. And shortly thereafter, I ended up figuring out that they was both ditz and dumb, and they didn't know how to educate me as an African American woman, first time with a lot of, at that point, I had already lost like 50 or 60 pounds on my own, you know, working out. So I was literally in the best shape of my life. I want y'all to find a picture of me before I had that baby and put it on because it was right and it was tight. And then I had this baby and I turned into the Goodyear blimp, and no one could advise me out of it. And at that time, I realized that I had a hormonal imbalance. I diagnosed myself, not off Google, but like with real books. I went and got the WebMD, like woman's medicine doctrine, and I literally looked up every symptom I had, read every symptom, went and watched 10 videos on it, WebMD, paid for an app where you can talk to a doctor. And then I figured out, I was like, okay, I have a hormonal imbalance, this trigger from me having a baby and then getting birth control right after. And this is why I can't stop eating. This is why I'm doing rapid weight gain. The catalyst was them telling me that I had to take metformin because my AA1C was 0.5 over the threshold. So it's supposed to be like 5.5 and I was at 6. I was like, oh no, baby. I signed up for a boot camp 2 weeks later and I dropped like 5 pounds in 2 weeks, and then I went back and got tested and I was out of the, you know, the medication range. And the whole process, start to finish, was like 7 months of mental hell. And it was because I was not in a position where I was in the front of the, I wasn't in front of the education behind what was happening to me. And I decided right then that it wasn't going down like that no more. And that I realized that I couldn't ask none of my friends about it, none of their mothers, none of their, like no one had the answers that I needed. And they say the way to start a business is to need something and find a way to fill that need. So with me reaching out, looking for African American females that can help me, I gave birth with a doula, and I had some resources there, and that kind of opened up some doors in certain levels, in certain areas. But I was just like, why don't we have any trainers that look like us? Why don't we have any health professionals that aren't trying to rip us off and take our money and sell us teas and waist trainers and all of these gimmicks and games and all this type of stuff?
No shit on the tea and waist trainers, by the way.
I want that's an honest thing, though. Being a woman,
I don't have a problem with anyone that sells those things. That's not to be shady. It's just to be that. Don't tell me how to be lipstick on a pig. I know that I can get a girdle. I know that I can drink some liquid X-Lax. I know these things already. What I need to know is how to burn the fat on the inside. What I need to know is how to treat the ailments that they want to give me medicines for. That's the disconnect. So the topical things and the surface things, that's not the issue. The issue is, do you know how to fix it from the inside out? And that's what my businesses do. I fix things from the inside out. You look around in here, ain't no lot of machines, nothing is plugged up in here. When you come in here, you the machine. I'm gonna teach you how to use your body in a way where you can do my gym, my workouts in jail, outside, at the daycare, at school, at work. You're gonna be able to do the same things. I teach you how to use everyday things and mostly for the most part, lightweight or body weight exercises that will help you build muscle, lose weight, burn fat, all of that with just you. So, and then with the Temple and Aura, I make tea concoctions, tinctures, salves, oils. I make my own soap, my own deodorant, my own toothpaste, my own shampoo. Like, I'm really getting off all the processed and preserved things, because all of those things build up in our body and they add to hormonal ailments, and they they affect us. And on a minute scale, unless you're a person who has some sort of inkling to be severely bothered by it. So I think that it's just a big educational gap in the health world, and unfortunately African Americans fall into it. And I just wanted to be in a community, real in the way person that people can pull up on and just get what they need without all the fluff, without all the skims and scams. It's just like, look, this is just, we getting back to nature. You know what I mean? So that's just, I just feel like when you live through something, it'll make you figure it out. In and out. It's no two ways. All of the major things, if you got high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, Like I know all them tinctures. I know all those detox processes like the back of my head because that's what most of us have. You know what I mean? And I think what makes my industry so tricky and why being educated and well taught and well trained and patient is key, because we're used to getting medications that work like this or surgeries that work like this. And what you don't understand is that the body has to absorb and build these things. So herbal healing is not necessarily rapid healing. And I think that a lot of us are used to this microwave society. But I mean, essentially all you got is time. You know what I mean? And if you live your life, the closer you align yourself to nature, the longer you're gonna be here. So when you need all of the extra stuff and it's taken away, what you gonna do? You gonna have to know how to go out here and get some herbs. I'm just skipping to that part.
Now, working with you in your businesses, because I do love that you are, first and foremost, an African American woman. Because like you said, just dealing with the same struggles, a lot of people don't understand that this is not, as more, even though it's common, it's not normal. It shouldn't be our normal. And I love the fact that you took the time to learn what it is so that you can help all of us through this process. Explain to the people like how we can work with you as far as like what's the process? Do we do consultations? Do we just hit you up? Like, how does that work?
So I get a lot of referrals, as y'all probably don't know, but I really don't advertise a lot. I'm really big on just attracting the energy that's supposed to come to me. So I get a lot of referrals, but if you want to work with me, I'm in the Shore Cultural Center. I have IG. All of my contact information is in there, as well as I have a business line that you can call me. As far as when you're looking to work with me, most times when people call me, they're looking for CMOS. And whenever somebody asks me, say they got CMOS, I was like, why you want it? And so then we go from there, and then I give you like the full rundown of what it is, what it's good for, what is it gonna do. Because people will tell you the bits and pieces that stick out to them, and they won't paint the whole picture for you. You know, so I like to literally tell people what my product does so that they can then make a decision and say, hey, is this for me, or is this not exactly what I'm looking for? So I do complimentary consultations for, especially for my products. You can't just be giving anybody any old type of herb. So like pregnant women can't take certain things. People with thyroid issues can't take certain things. So I always want to know what you're getting, and why are you looking for what you're looking for? Because I know that none of this is really like common. So I try to really just be education based, and most times people are like, yeah, okay, that's cool, I'm good. As far as weight loss, I do have a consultation process with that, because I need to know your goals to know if we're going to fit. Personal training is personal. So if you're not going to be committed to the process, if you don't have the time, if you're looking for a quick fix, I'm quick to refer you to someone else. Because I'm not ever going to compromise who I am, my integrity, and my beliefs for business. It's not that deep to me.
Y'all pay that back.
So just because you're ready to give up some money, people think that the exchange of money is the guarantee of weight loss. And what you don't understand is that you're only with me for a small part of your day, a few times in your week. So what you do outside of me is going to be way more impactful. So I like to talk to people to make sure that their head is wrapped around that concept. And if I sense that you're delusional, you will not be working out in here. Because at the end of the day, I know you're going to end up being disappointed. I'm going to end up being frustrated. Ultimately, neither one of us are going to get anything out of it. So I'll refer people to other types of programs that may work better for them, their schedule, their goals, etc. But yeah, so the fitness more so consultation. The health things, I can do consultations for those things too, but most times the people make an inquiry about something, I just give them the general spiel. Okay. As well as all of my products kind of come with instructions and things like that. And yeah, if people have questions, you know, I'm real good with the customer service. I'm a people person, so shoot, just ask me, okay?
Now I really want to get some real good. Some good stuff. Okay, so y'all keep saying y'all know each other. How do y'all even know each other? Where that
I can get into that.
Right? Just drink my water.
Yeah, we're going to sit that all the way up. I've known Jeanova since I was 16, and I'm making Jeanova 14. No, 15?
I was young.
She was young.
I was young, tender.
She was young, right? And just like any other man, right? You know,
Here we go.
you know,
He was plotting.
I was plotting.
I wasn't studying him.
She was not. She was
He
not.
lured me in through an invitation to church.
Listen, fellas, church works, okay? It works, all right? Don't ever, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? But, time out, because being friend zone was not a bad thing, y'all. You know,
I'm one of the best friends you can have. I'm real
Definitely.
resourceful,
Definitely.
real loyal,
Definitely.
and I fight.
Exactly. And we're not gonna get into that. But since then, because from that initial meeting, I've had a friend for life. And from listen, and let me tell y'all it's an entrepreneurship story about Jeanova. So she was going to Conwell High School, all right? And I remember seeing her book bag. I'm like, what you got there, Jeanova? She had a ton of pops, a ton of candies. I'm like, what you about to do with all that?
Oh,
I was a mobile convenience store.
Mobile convenience, so there we go.
So y'all know in high school what? First of all, let's take it a step back. The reason how we met, okay, so we met at a nerd camp, right? An orientation for nerd camp. And it was my first summer in Cleveland. I'm from Detroit. So in Detroit, I went to Cass Tech. Shout out Cass Tech. It's one of the top schools in Michigan, and they didn't play that, right? So coming and being enrolled in an urban high school was like, oh, they high? They pregnant? Ooh, sweet Jesus, what's going on in here? But I saw an opportunity, right? I was like, he hungry, she hungry, the vending machine is empty, y'all need me. So I literally put up like, bruh man, I would go around from drugstore to drugstore to drugstore with my allowance, and I would buy, the candy bars used to be $4 for $1. You know, chips was like $3 for $1, $4 for $1. But I used to have coupons. I was a couponer at the age of 15. So I learned that from working in the hair store in Michigan. The owners, Mr. Ching, they used to coupon because they had a bunch of kids, and they showed me the basics of couponing. I didn't have to coupon in Detroit, but it was something that I picked up on. So when you would go in the store, it would be coupon books in the front, and they would always say, take 5. So they would have all of us go in the store, and we would all take 5. When we go home, now we got 40 coupons. Right? So then now we can go get 40 things discounted. So I applied my prior knowledge of working in the hairstyle, community neighborhood hair store, to coupon and start my own first little business. So I would have candy bars, and whatever I got it for, I would pretty much just sell it for double. But I would make my killing off of sodas. So, because you know, sodas you can get in the case. Now in Detroit, it was not a good hustle because we paid deposit. So if it said it was $1, it was really $1.10. And you had to, if you sold it, you wouldn't have the can to turn back in to get your 10 cents back. So you essentially losing 10 cents on everything you sell. Anywho, so Capri Suns, cases of pop was where I made all my money. So that's where I really started working out. Carrying around like 30 pops a day,
right?
And 30 Capri Suns and chips and candy bars and candy, Laffy Taffies, anything you can name. Not like penny candy. I do straight full size, okay? You come to me, you gonna get a meal. And I paid for prom, I paid for after prom, I paid for everything I needed to pay for out of my hustle until this hating teacher named Miss Keith came and shut me down. She snatched my bag, and then Benton, he confiscated my bag. I felt okay with Benton getting all my Kit Kats. Honestly, they caught me at like one period left in the day. I was sold out anyway. I had a bankroll this thing. I have a Boost Mobile chirping, you know, looking for me. But I was out. But yeah, so that was my first real business. It wasn't my first job, but it was my first business. And it definitely taught me a lot of things about markets, about being in a position, about recognizing needs, and about quality customer service. Because essentially I had the same thing that was in the vending machine. But the pregnant girl ain't have to get up. I used to always go take her stuff. I would wait for her out there. She be coming up the stairs. Yeah, certain things like that you gotta do, because when you make an impression on people, they're gonna tell other people. Like what you did. I told you, I was like, this is some of the best customer service I've ever gotten off of anything that I've ever bought an online digital product. And her response and to my questions and everything, like I was like, this is like blowing out the water. And I was like, I'm gonna make a video about it. But I didn't ever get around to making a video about it. But I did her one better. I told everybody that I knew could benefit from this type of person. I told them about her. I'm always gonna believe in that grassroots marketing. And nothing's better than word of mouth. So the biggest thing you could ever do in business to really screw yourself is to not do what you said you were going to do. Don't ever under-deliver. Like,
I'll take a note on that.
You cannot under-deliver, especially when somebody is vouching for you. You know what I mean? So I'm real. I try to always just stick to whatever I said I was gonna do. To the extent I said I was gonna do it, and if I could do a little extra, throw some samples in, I'm gonna do that. But at the very minimum, I'm always gonna deliver what I said I was gonna deliver, and staying true to that has gotten me like really, really far. I was able to expand in the midst of COVID. I actually signed this lease in July, so COVID was kind of still. As soon as they let me outside, I had to get a space. And, you know, expanded my product line to 3 products to now have about 52 products all together, and, you know, variations and things like that. But yeah, if you stick to those basics, those fundamentals, know your stuff, do right by people, follow through, the rest takes care of itself. That's all you gotta do. Really, say.
I got one more Jeanova story.
Oh, here you go.
So, no, I'm talking about when you left FitMeNaturally. So, let me tell you something. Jeanova So Jeanova's always, no matter where Jeanova's been at, she's always excelled. She's always got promoted whenever she's been at, right?
I'm a boss.
So we're both working at FitMeNaturally, right? I serve cashier, she's a cashier. I become assistant manager, she becomes assistant manager. I become store manager, she also becomes store manager, right?
I was a temporary store manager at first because I was like playing with y'all.
Oh yeah.
I knew better.
Right.
Follow your first mind, y'all. When you agree to sell your time, follow your first mind.
Right.
He sent me to the store with his other best friend. And when I tell you, I got 2 gray hairs. With that boy. And I was like, look, I don't care what y'all gotta do. Get me out of here with him. And they did. They sent me to my own store. That's how I became a store manager. To get away from your friend.
Yeah, who remain nameless, by the way.
Yeah, we ain't gonna talk about it.
But what made the story so compelling is that Jeanova knew her worth. And she told these people, I'll let you finish the rest of the story, by the way.
You tell them what I told them, since you telling.
No, you go ahead, you tell them better than I do. But she let you.
Tell them what I did. Tell them, go ahead and tell them what I did.
So, I think she banned in like 18 $8, by the way. But she literally told them, told the manager, right, she was Target. Told them that she gotta go. And she went. She left. She locked the door, gave them the key, and closed the store down. And what, 12 o'clock in the middle of the day type of thing?
Oh, wow, it should have been operational?
Oh, yeah.
Lunch hour.
Told everybody, go ahead, go home.
Yeah, I relieved them from their duties, and I relieved myself from mine. So this is the fun thing about working in Ohio, y'all. Get real close. You listen, you at will, okay? So if you don't want to do it, you don't got to do it. And that's something that I learned in a book. It was a page from a book that the average person would have looked at me. I was about, what, 22?
Ooh, we were
Maybe?
young.
We were young. We were young money. We was a bunch of young people managing family dollars.
We thought we were doing this too.
Man, what? And so the funny thing about it is, it was always static. You know, they was always mad. They was always mad I was in school. They was always mad I had other jobs. They was always mad I had other responsibilities. But they would always come to you like they needed you and you were perfect for the job and you were this and you were that. And I was always very, very adamant and very straightforward about who I am, what I'm about, what I'm gonna do. Like at the end of the day, fair exchange ain't no robbery. Y'all pay me a nice amount of money, I come and do a job that ain't hard to me. And that was the extent of my agreement. I wasn't contracted. I was under no contract. I wasn't binded. I talk real business when I have to. So yeah, like I'm essentially, you know, I'm a placeholder. You know, people would get sick, people get fired. What we do? We go right in there and butter somebody else. Hey, you want a store?
Yeah.
And so I knew that I wasn't hard to replace. You know, it's just about how hard would they have to work to replace. me. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, they ended up giving the store to somebody that was like 10 times less qualified than I was because they just needed a placeholder. So essentially, what does that make me? A placeholder. Once you understand who you are, you can better play yourself on the game of chess. And I had enough training at that point to know that I was not some pawn in somebody else's game or whatever. So when I hear people talk about how they don't like their job or how unhappy they are, I'm like, remove yourself. The universe will make a way. So I ended up having the whole summer off. I quit the 4th of July weekend. Oh yeah, I didn't tell y'all that part. They fired every person in the store besides me and 2 cashiers. And they wanted me to manage, so that means I would have to work open to close. I'm the only manager that works for the store. And I would get 1 cashier in the day, and then she would go home and I would get another one at night. And they wanted me to do this the whole holiday weekend.
Yeah.
I was like, this is
I remember calling me, hey Brandon, hey, you're from Jeanova? I'm like, what? What happened?
Yeah, and that's one thing about me is I'm real nice, but like I don't play.
Oh yeah.
I'm literally like one of the sweetest people you will ever meet until you make me not be sweet. And when I called that lady to ask who was coming to relieve me, she said, no one's coming. You're gonna be there. Oh, I know you lying. Who gonna be there? I said, baby, I'll do you one better. Won't nobody be here. And so I let them know. I said, look here, just stay clocked in. If they fix it, they fix it. If they don't, they don't. You get the whole day, but you can go. I drop the money. I ain't gonna take their money or nothing like that. I even might have wiped stuff down, sanitized stuff. I let all the customers that were in the store at the time of that phone call continue to shop. Get what y'all want, because it may not be open tomorrow. I let them do all of that. I ain't nasty about nothing. But yeah, I have no regrets about it either. Absolutely no regrets. People can't play you. You can only play yourself. I think to let somebody play you, to suffer, to do things that you don't want to do things that don't fulfill you, don't make you happy, and then get mad at other people because you did it. It's a type of delusion that I just can't even relate to. I ain't doing nothing I don't want to do for nobody. And that was me at 23. I'm 32 now, so 10 years, and I'm still not doing it.
Still the same. That's what's up.
But that's the anchor yourself in something, or anything can sway you. So I anchor myself in the belief that I want to be equally yoked in my relationships. So if I'm invested in something to a point that the reciprocal is not as invested in me, then that just doesn't make me want to stay there. And that's a really easy conversation for me to have. And I try to instill that into other people, is to go where you love, go where you accepted and celebrated. Don't go where you tolerated and disrespected and teased along. Like, that's not gonna get you.
Yeah, Janova's been my life coach since 04, so.
Happy when she gets certified.
Oprah was like really like a little driving. Well, I've been obsessed with Oprah since I was very young. I'm probably the only person that liked Oprah as a kid. And so she used to be always with Dr. Phil, and he always had the advice, but it wasn't necessarily the way. Dr. Phil didn't have as much sauce as Oprah. Oprah was smooth and warming, and I was like ragged, just like Dr. Phil. I'll say some stuff, you'd be like, who are you talking to? So they would call me Dr. Hill. So even in college, anytime anybody had a problem, that was just always been like my go-to. So to be standing where I'm at now, kind of like that source that everybody comes to for random stuff. Like, y'all, I can watch your kids, I can teach them math, I can do your taxes, I can wax your eyebrows, I can balance your checkbook. Like, I can do so many different things, and people always come to me for that. If you need something random, I'll probably have it. You need a 9-volt battery at 3 a.m. Pull up on me. I probably got it. But that just has always been me. So to be in college where the girl, I remember she was like, I need a needle and thread, and I know no one has it but you. And I'm like, I do have it. How did you know I had that needle and thread? You've been in my room. Or like a floppy disk. I still had a floppy disk in college. I know, right?
Some of you might know what a floppy disk is. Look it up.
I know, you probably don't, but I had one. And it was just like, somebody needed it for a little project. And I had one. I've always been that person. So to be then and feel awkward and weird because I'm like, this hoarder klepto that has everything.
I'm about to say,
to where I am now, where it's like people always need me. Like I'm essential.
You are.
I'm essential. I'm super essential, man.
No, that's real.
I don't know if y'all been taking like actual notes, but I've been taking mental notes, and I love how she's displaying this whole find her way or make one mentality, whether it's for life or for business or whatever. She's made this like almost like her mantra, right? And then she talks about every time she tells a story, all I hear is get more from your job to your paycheck. She learned how to coupon, which helped her to thrive in her business. She learned how to stand in not just her worth, because your job kind of determines your worth to them, but also her value. She knew what she was capable of and what she just would not work with or, stand on. She learned customer service from a job that she didn't even want to serve at. You know what I mean? It's crazy how
I never wanted that job. I took the job to help out your friend's dad.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm starting to realize that this guy is the catalyst to all the things that went wrong.
That's funny. That's
No,
you did.
it's all good though. But I think that those types of things are all, like position and everything. I look back on, like I said, I'm just now to the point in life where everything is making perfect sense. I had to learn how to do those orders. I had to learn how to rotate inventory. I had to learn how shipping works, how customer service works, how complaint works, how things should go in a business. I had to learn that.
Even teaching at a basic level. Being an elementary or middle school teacher, you're good at having the patience to deal with people and helping us to understand it.
So, once you get to the high school level, you have big concepts that are dissected. So if you can't grasp big concepts, you're not going to get the little pieces.
Right.
When you're in middle school, you literally are microdosing. You're spoon feeding because you have to build and teach them how to think so that they can unravel big concepts. So working with people who don't know as much about things that I do is a perfect, like it's literally like the same thing. Like I said, I used to work with little children, now I work with big children. It's the same thing because when you're learning something that you have no, workaround for, it's literally just like being a child. It's just like teaching a child. Not that I think of customers or clients or guests or anything like that as children, but the science behind the approach is very, very similar. So I used to feel like I wasted all this money in school. I wasted all this time in school. I could have been traveling the world. But then I look at where I am now and just all the points of reference that I have based on my prior experiences, and it just all makes sense, and I can be proud and I can stand on like everything that's up here, I got it honest. You know what I mean? I ain't get no shortcut. I ain't get nobody put me on. Nobody did none of that. You dragged me down. You didn't put me on. No. But what I will say about B is that anytime he had an opportunity, regardless of what he thought I was going to think about it, he was going to offer it to me. Wherever he been at, he is an optimistic king. He's like, I got a job as a trash man. It's really smelly, but the people are really nice. They're always glad to see you coming. Like, that's literally his attitude. Like, he's going to, he's definitely going to paint the picture of that it's the best thing ever. He ain't never had a job that he thought wasn't the best job, y'all.
I did eventually, but
eventually, he got, you just got there like 90 days ago. But no, he's super, super, super optimistic.
I appreciate it.
And I always like that about him, even though now I'm thinking about the past. I'm realizing that you tried to set me up a few times. But that's the thing, people can only get over on what you let them get over on. I knew. I said, like, I don't care how this look on you, bruh. I left.
I look. I think it took me about 2 years before I left out. So it is what it is.
Yeah, he stayed there after they did that to me.
I did. The money was good.
They did pay, and they would pay you more. And I could have finessed that whole being by myself into some money, but honey, it wasn't even worth it. I said, I can see right now. I don't want to play wicked games with y'all for the rest of my foreseeable future. It ain't right. And it was hot outside. I was outside.
Oh yeah, we're not gonna go down memory lane, but nonetheless though, shout out to Fang Y'all by the way. Shout out to Fang Y'all if y'all wrong one, okay?
So what's the plans? What's because you got a lot going on, and you have been manifesting and making stuff just come together. So I want to know what's the plans? What's next?
What's next for me. So I'm excited to actually be attending my first yoga retreat tomorrow. So that's actually something that I want to do in the future. Is I want to like host retreats, just reset retreats, health, detox retreats and things like that. So I really am excited to go on this retreat to kind of see what that's like, so that I could be offering that. But like I said, I'll be yoga certified before the end of the year. I'll be life coach certified shortly thereafter. I am currently just started teaching yoga classes, offering yoga classes here, holding space. What else is going on? Oh, ebooks are dropping soon. I also have a mindful eating journal that will be coming out soon. All of this will be included in my website relaunch. I'm not even gonna get into that. As a business owner, you will never see the L's we take to make. Literally, a lot of times it's literally like 5 or 6 really slow, heavy steps in soggy mud and quicksand before we can take one step forward. I've been fighting with the domain holders of my website for 10 months now. So I have reserved my domain, but I actually don't own it because it's not released from Switzerland. Don't even ask. But yeah, you take a lot of back seats to things out of your control as a business owner. And one thing about me is I'm never going to dwell or harp on things that aren't working. I'm just going to keep working everything that is working. So part of my business structure is based on the fact that I cannot live my website. So, I don't have that little contact button, that ask me button. I don't have those tools, so I have to be that, that tool, which I like because it was going to come to me anyway, so it's fine. But, that's a thing. So when my website launches, I'll have all 50 plus products available for your ordering pleasure. I will have all of my 16 services offered for your booking pleasure. So that's something that I'm really, really, really excited about, is to just have that launch, to just kind of have that structure added to the, secrecy. To make it all cohesive, to make it click, 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 so that I can really just do the things that I need to do the advertising things, be the face. And right now, because I'm the face, the employee, the manager, the customer service, the janitor, I'm all of that. Accounts payable, accounts receivable, shipping, you know what I mean? I'm all of those things. So I'll be glad when I have that handled, so that I can just kind of do all the other things and really get back to talking. I also was featured on a podcast called The Fetus Exchange with 4 or 5 other holistic health local gurus, yogis, Reiki masters, not Reiki masters, but Reiki practitioners, holistic health, business, skincares, and things like that. So we all kind of had our own little avenue into things, and I really miss chatting with them. So hopefully we can bring it back for season 3. We did 2 seasons, so I'm looking forward to that. So that's kind of where you're going to see me. I'm going to be doing a whole lot of more classes, presenting a whole lot more digital products for those self-paced learners, and a lot of working tools for people to kind of work through some of the things that they can't really be vocal about, and workshops. I am networking with a therapist, other Reiki masters, nutrition coaches, sound bowl healing, practitioners. I don't know what the real term for them is. Sound bowl healers, other yogis and things like that, to bring wellness retreats to you guys. So these are day-long events with keynote speakers where you can come and get gems, go into sister circles, talk about different things, and just kind of have planned days of healing. Different forms of self-care, silent therapies, nap times, aromatherapy. Naps are so essential. He is very, very healing, and sometimes all you need is that few hours away. You know what I mean? And as a mom, I know that that's a real big thing, and I think that healing can sound so cumbersome. I need to heal. It's oh man, that just sounds like a lot. And you know what I mean? Something you can find healing in anything. You can find healing in 2 minutes of deep breath. You can find healing in 2 minutes of screaming, you know, in the shower. You know what I mean? Like, you can find healing in, you know, squeezing it. You can find healing in whatever you want to find healing in. So I just want to normalize those type of conversations for people who look like me and him.
What?
Because it's not just for
It's
women.
true.
It's for me. It's especially for men.
The light skin thing.
No, I wouldn't even see. He always draking on me, y'all.
I know, man. You call me. You call me
Always
Drake since the
draking on me.
beginning.
He is Drake. Drake. He's always been Drizzy.
No, yeah, you know what?
Yes, but yeah, that's what I got coming up. A lot of collaborations and networking. I have been meeting some really awesome local. I'm say gems. They're just gems. Just meeting people. It's like, where you been all my life? And it's kind of like we all kind of was like in those little trenches of doing stuff, but now just like that's one thing. Energy is not ever going to. It's gonna attract. Like, so anybody, whatever's for you is gonna find its way to you. I have people who reach out to me. I have people I reach out to, and just because you don't get the answer that you want right then, a not right now is not a no.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's one thing I will say that I learned this year is the power of opening up your mouth. Networking with people, reaching out to people, telling people what your intentions are. Because I think that in Cleveland, it get real sketch on the business side. There's a lot of people who've done a lot of things. I don't know them. I just know that they did stuff. And I think that a few bad apples ruined it for the networking possibilities for a lot of people, to where when they hear certain things, they don't even want to do stuff. It's this big mindset that we gotta get it out the mud. You gotta do it on your own. I'm self-made. I'm self-this. I'm self-that. Like, one thing about me is if you put me on to something, you show me something, or you help me something, I'm gonna always give you your roses, and I'm gonna always tell people where I got that source from. Period. I don't need that, but I do that for other people. Like, you don't gotta validate me by thanking me all crazy, but that's something I'm always gonna do. When I wanna work with people, I'm learning to be very direct in what I wanna do, what I hope to get out of it, what I hope to bring to the community. Like, I let them know what it is so that they don't gotta guess what it ain't. And I think that that's something that we need to normalize in the small business community. Like, letting people know, I'm not trying to leverage you. I don't want anything from you. I don't want to split. I don't want to whatever, or I'm not inviting you here to make money or anything like that. It's that I'm literally doing this for this purpose. You know what I mean? So whatever your purpose is, I just say, like, lead with that. If you think we can make some money together, start with that. Hey, Jay, I think we can make a lot of money together if we blah, 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 blah. And then give me the inkling to do it or not do it. Because if I know that you're trying to make money, I'm going to be thinking about it one way. If I know that we're trying to do something charity, or we're trying to just bring something, then I'm going to be thinking about it another way. So, you know, just always be honest in your intentions about why you want to work with people and what you're really trying to do. To let them give that yay or nay. Like, quit trying to finesse people into doing what benefits you. You know, I think that leaves a sour taste in a lot of people's mouth, and it really hinders the networking possibilities. I've run into some people where I can tell. I'm like, who hurt you? I ain't gonna do all that.
You dropping some gems tonight, man.
I ain't gonna do all that with y'all. Like, I always joke with people and tell them, like, my business pay for itself. Like, this ain't connect. I ain't gonna lose no money on this. You know what I mean? FitMeNaturally is a standalone business, separate from me. It pay me. I don't pay it. So if I come to you on the business side, then whatever. If I come to you for $20, just give me the $20. Because my business is cool, but I may be a little down. But yeah, I'm looking to network and just looking really to just like expand. I have really big goals for next year. Next year I'm going storefront, so no more suite. I have a nice size suite though, but I'm definitely going storefront standalone next year. So no more leases here. I need my own dough so y'all can have late night yoga parties and stuff, all of that. So it's gonna be a vibe.
It already
I'm excited.
is.
I'm excited.
So shameless plug, y'all. And that was what she just described as part of the reason why we're doing this right here, the pull up and the whole experience, is that we wanted to showcase entrepreneurs, show in Cleveland that it isn't just about like you said, we want to finesse your clout to expand upon my clout. It's more so I can learn from you, learn from each other, we support each other, and we all can win together. Right?
Yeah. And honestly, we could get so much further if we did things together.
Absolutely.
I think of ways that I can expand faster all the time, but I know that people are so closed-minded, small-minded, and honestly hurt behind other things that they can't see the vision for, like what it is, which is like, hey, we all do the same thing.
Yeah.
None of us want to work all day.
Right.
Let's go get a big space where you hear it in, we ain't in each other's way. Now we're all saving 40% of our overhead because we're pocketing that money because now we're this, but networking and partnering and all of those things are just like taboo words. It's like you hear it, you like,
Right.
I ain't messing with you on that level or this or that. And I think that we need to normalize business conversations. We need to normalize financial education. We need to normalize how things work so that people aren't so scared of them. Because if you set up things right, you can't lose.
Right.
If you set it up right. It's when you try to do riggy stuff to that people end up falling, that's how you fall out. When you don't set it up right. Like you can't take shortcuts in business. Like it's always better to brick by brick lay it out right. You know what I mean? And I think that if we know how to lay it out right, then we will be way more apt to want to work together. Because once you see what you can do on your own, like look in here, everything in here I bought. Every single thing. Every single thing. I paid for all of that, right? If I had a partner, I could have paid for half. Which means I could have invested more into something else.
Right.
You know what I mean? If I had another partner in here, now we're down to third. So let's say like right now, I just got this place insured for the second term. And when I first moved in here, it was about